my screen. All right, good morning, everyone. So, screen is shared, chat is open. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. So, let's look at the market. Yesterday was quite an interesting day, um, but I think that we'll need to see a bit more, and I'll explain why. So let's take TLMM first, right? That's always my go-to, my first initial analysis to assess the market. Hey, good morning, Pat. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, yesterday was the break of that kind of basing structure. We didn't quite broke the August 1st low, so we're still technically within that base, right? But we made kind of a lower low short term, right? Because we kind of sliced through the 21 DMA structure, the 50 DMA after making a lower high. So yeah, yesterday could have been. Hey, good morning, Matt. Good morning, Banu. And good morning, Kashti. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, yesterday the way I see it was I think that it could have been way uglier and defensive and risk off. Um, but sorry, I was reading something. So yeah, it could have been a lot uglier, but I think that the constructive action was that a lot of stuff kind of broke their structure, broke their bases, and they were bought up pretty aggressively. And you just have to take a couple names real quick. So that type of Netflix action as you're getting that base. So there was your downtrend, that initial rally. We reclaimed daily structure, and then we're going sideways. And yeah, last week I was pretty heavy, and I was honestly thinking that we're just tighten up and go from there. But yeah, sometimes we need to shake out. We need to shake out weak hands like me, and that did it. So we opened very weak. We opened on a lot of liquid stock on mega caps and building patterns. We opened below structure, and we ramped back up. The dip was bought, and mostly all the stuff that I'm tracking is back into range, is back into its building process. So will we just go from there, retest the structure low, build the right side? That's all the thing and the clues that we'll get in the next few days. But yeah, that I think that yesterday kind of started to be an ugly day, and it could have been a continuation down, but the way it was bought, I think, was pretty constructive. That being said, being constructive, don't negate the warning signals and kind of the current market picture. So we are trading below daily structure. We are and starting to decline below the 50 DMA, and the 10, the 20, and the 50 are all downtrend aligned. You also have from long-term breadth to very short-term breadth a pretty steep decline. The good news is the stocks above their 5 DMA is now oversold at 23-ish%. So we can expect a bounce, but where we'll go from there will tell a lot on the market. So taking back the Netflix example, will that bounce get us into that previous structure, and then we start to build the right side um, as Brett is coming down and the market builds itself? That's a scenario that I will watch for. Uh, but yeah, I'm kind of a bit put off and still a bit on the defensive just because we have a lot of momentum downside with that breadth, those breadth extension from all time frame, and also the McClellan summation. So breadth essentially started to reaccelerate to the downside yesterday with a reacceleration. So you see the McClellan oscillator really picking up for the second day now. We're not yet oversold there. We can see some swing in the minus 8 to 10 ish in that area. That could be some type of low capitulation move, but we never know. If the market is strong, if we're still building those bases, we can certainly just absorb that selling, stabilize, and then you'll see the McClellan summation just trying to round down and hook back up in a slowly way. So yeah, for me, market wise, based on the QQQE that is below daily structure with breadth extension, not quite oversold on every time frame, and a lot of momentum, and with the McClellan summation, like I shared last night, I'm more in a waiting mode. I recognize that yesterday was very constructive, but breadth is still contracting and accelerating as well. So that's why I want to be patient. I'm not gonna rush only because some names made constructive moves back in their bases, while the broader market is still contracting and mostly under distribution. All right. Um, So credit spread, like we discussed, we had a pretty big gap right above daily structure. That came down. It was faded yesterday. Just watch on the retest how we react, right? So a bit like early August. So do we come back into the structure and just make a higher low and bounce back up for a new leg higher? That would be kind of the risk off signal. Or we slice through the 21 DMA structure and we continue that downtrend. Same thing for VIX. VIX spiked, closed weak, so watch for that 21 DMA structure retest or breakdown. Yield still in a daily, weekly downtrend. Bitcoin, like I said last night, weekly still look good because we are retesting that base area. But for me, it's too soon. I like to buy kind of the strength following the weakness. And right now we are in a daily downtrend below a declining daily structure. So I want to see some tight action on the right side. And the first black bar, so the reclaim of the structure will be playable, a bit like in April. So will that will the first one fail? That happens very often. But look for either tight action or a simple reclaim. but that type of moves after a daily downtrend is where usually the momentum lies and what you want to engage in. All right, and just to cover, so we talked about the QQQE, but I think that NQ is looking way more constructive. Um, as a reminder, we're still playing kind of the base retest, a bit like Bitcoin. We're right into the 10-week moving average structure, so kind of the spot where institutions like to support the market, support the stocks, and that's what we see with Palantir as well, which is a leading stock of their recent cycle, supported right into the 10-week moving average structure, and same thing for UD as well. UD right into the 10-week moving average structure and kind of building that that base, right? So not in a hurry. These leaders are still building in their weekly structures. Uh, we do have, like I said, constructive action in the leading stuff, but Brett is still contracting. Price on the equal weight indices is still below a declining daily structure. So I just want to see a bit more before to engage back. I wanted to cover a few tickers. Basically, what I will watch from here, how they build, how they reclaim their daily structure, or how they build into it and confirm a daily reversal. So the first one is Reddit, kind of being bumped up overnight by probably Google News or I don't know what. Palantir really building that 10-week moving average structure, higher lows, and the setup that I will look here is for the 21 DMA structure reclaim. Roblox kind of confirmed the daily reversal yesterday, so the setup is there and valid. We're still within 1 ATR from the 21 DMA. But ideally, we get some type of weakness to engage on the 21 DMA retest maybe or mid-range of yesterday. That would be best case scenario. Palantir, UD, sorry, Robinhood. So same type of as Palantir. We're now trading below the daily structure, and I will look for a daily structure reclaim. ALAB, a bit weekly extended, but there was a good catalyst and it held the gap. So looking pretty constructive. We're building higher low structure right in the daily structure. Looking for the daily reversal as long as it's below 1 ETR from the 21 DMA. Micron, so still building pretty well. We have that kind of downtrend line wedge breakout. We have that higher low structure. So you can look for the 21 DMA structure, the daily structure reclaim, daily reversal of yesterday's high. Those would be kind of my spot to engage in these names. AMD, so still building in that weekly structure right at the base area. So yesterday could be seen as a shakeout, undercut, and a rally. In that case, I don't think it's quite ready. A bit like Palantir and Robinhood, I will look for some type of daily structure reclaim. Micron recovered. Okay, so same thing for Shop. Shop, I closed my position yesterday. Might have been a mistake, but I explained the reason why I closed my exposure, and I'm all good with it. Um, but yeah, if it builds again on the right side, I will be interested to see the continuation move after yesterday's shakeout. Auber still building well. That weekly chart base on base. It came back to retest that base area right here. We're right at the 10-week moving average. For Auber, you can look at yesterday's high for a daily reversal. That will also be the 21 DMA reclaim. Carvana, I think weekly chart is looking very good. You have that couple of weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8-ish weeks of base building. And right now we have kind of that recent swing high pivot retest with a shakeout at the 21 DMA yesterday. So you can look to play it around that area on weakness, or look for the daily reversal above yesterday's high. ANET, another one looking very good, higher lows, building right in that earnings gap in the daily structure. Yeah, this one I would look for some type of weakness. We're a bit extended from the 21 DMA. So look for some weakness, maybe retest some pivot right here. So look for this high that was retested here. We made higher low. So look for that area maybe to be retested. That would offer a really great entry on weakness. And finally, Netflix, still on my radar. Like I said, pretty neat shakeout below structure. We're back at the 21 DMA. I will look for some tightness on the right side before engaging back. I do like the weekly with potentially that shakeout. And that's a pretty big base, pretty big weekly setup. So yeah, I'm still interested by Netflix. All right, so that covers market, the names that I will be watching, and with all the proper levels and pivots that I'm watching to engage. And just quickly, I think that yesterday was constructive. Like I said, yesterday could have been an ugly day and really put this whole market into a risk-off situation. The buying that we saw was quite constructive, and pushes us to be optimistic, right? So let's keep an open mind. And once again, if the market decide to tighten up after that shakeout, we'll see in the indicators, we'll start to see breadth coming in, momentum coming in, and that will turn the equal weight price action above the daily structure. That will push McClellan summation to hook up. And personally, that's where I make money, is when the market is coming up after a pullback, after that oversold condition, and when you get those nice trend of breadth expansion. That's where you make your money. If I know it's super hard, but if you can only trade those periods where the market came back in for a few weeks and months, and you are pretty on the downside to the McClellan summation, and then you grab that market move, and you can make 30, 40, 50% of your account returns over a couple of weeks and months, just like we saw in April. And that's still being pretty conservative. So I know myself included. I have to improve there because since the first day of August, Brett has been declining, and I was still engaging the market. And I have to remind myself that fact that we want to participate in those periods first and reduce activity and reduce size in this type of market. But yeah, for me it's hard. That's stuff that I have to work personally. And keep in mind that you will always have things to improve as a trader. It just never ends. All right, let's take questions. So, Hart asking, while thinking about August learnings, have you thought on adjusting the way how you take profits in partial during times like these, or for now everything stays the same? Yeah, um, that's a good question, right? And it just come back to what I talked about yesterday. Um, for me, I prefer to just be focused on my system, not trying to change how you take partials. I like to stick to what I do, and I rather just reduce my activity or not trade at all in those type of period instead of changing my system. Because the problem is, you only know that in insight, right? Uh, when you're in it, the market is setting up. You don't know that the market will chop for a month. Yeah, you know that Brett is contracting, and that's not a nice clean trend like that. So you can tweak your system. You can take profits earlier, etc., etc. But for me, I just prefer to lean back, and that's the work I need to do myself. But personally, that's what I like to do. Just stay put on my system, and nail it hard when there's a good opportunity. And if you just look at Nasdaq, uh, and we do have, and let me just explain something. You see, Nasdaq futures up almost 0.8% this morning. Um, S&P 500, so ES up 0.4%, and you have the Russell down 0.22. So what's going on, right? And last night, there was a news about Google. Um, I think it was Google Chrome that they don't have to sell, right? So that's a big fundamental news. And Google is up 7% pre-market. And you also have Apple up 3.5% this morning. So what happens is these indices are weighted uh, with those large caps. So the larger the market cap, the larger weight they have in the Nasdaq, so NQ and ES, or the Qs and SPY, whatever you want to use, the ETF or the futures. So when you see Google up 7%, when you see uh, Apple up 3.5%, what happens is these stocks, I don't have the exact weight, but maybe 10 or 15% of the NASDAQ. Then if these are up, it just boosts the index. It just boosts the proxy, but it doesn't affect the broad market that is more reflected in QQQE and RSP, which are the equal weight ETFs, and IWM, which is not affected by Google and Apple gap up as well. So always keep that in mind. And that's why uh, we have this TLMM dashboard. It's to assess the broad market. It this dashboard filter out mega caps action. It filters out if Google is jumping 10% a morning or Apple is down 10% for some news. You'll get the real picture of the broad market, the broad NASDAQ in that case. And that's why I always start there and I base my analysis and my trading decision based on this dashboard because it tells me the real picture, what it happens underneath, and it's not skewed by the mega caps action. Any questions, guys? And look for Bitcoin this morning and today. So as I mentioned, we retested the base structure, but at the same time, we kind of made a new low and retest that recent swing, weekly swing low right here. So you have that breakdown and yesterday's push right into the daily structure in the recent swing low. So that's kind of a pivotal point, I think, for Bitcoin. And it always gives a good risk on off signal as well. So if you see Bitcoin pushed uh, through that structure and we reclaim the 21 DMA as well, that's a pretty good and constructive signal for the market. But if we have a retest and rejection, then it just confirmed that this market need more time, right? ETH. Let's see crypto. Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a nice chart. So you have that cup and handle breakout, right? Big weekly breakout. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks tight. You have on the daily higher lows. And I really like that kind of VCP pullback. Don't know if you see that, guys, but you have kind of the, let me use that. You have that compression within that pullback structure. So it pulled back 12%, then we rallied, initial reaction down 6%. We rallied, yeah, down another 5%. Let's say 5 because that's kind of a shakeout. And that's the one. So yeah, and now kind of the final leg right here, 3%. So you really have that big VCP going on. Each leg higher is not able to push lower, and now you have that potential higher low. 21 DMA reclaim. Look at yesterday's high. That's the same pattern that I explained for the whole focus list, right? Um, Look for the daily reversal. Look for the 21 DMA structure and DMA reclaim. Uh, that would be your signal that you are making a first higher high, short-term higher high, which will switch the structure itself and put the odds in your favor. Um, Lower high, lower high, lower high. What happens if we pushed above yesterday's high? We have a new higher high. So it changes the downtrend structure of the pullback into a potential uptrend structure, because you now have, and that's true on the low side as well. Lower low, lower low, lower low. Oh, look what happened. A new higher low in the structure. So to make an uptrend, you need a new higher low and a new higher high. So if you have that new higher low and you confirm that new higher high, you now have an uptrend structure. So that's what I'm looking personally into pullback structure, is that shift, and that's where the edge comes from. When you switch from a downtrend structure to an uptrend structure, you stack the odds in your favor. All right, so does this session start at 9 ish? Yeah, I usually start to around 8:45. But this week I have kind of the first days of my kids at school, so I was running late a bit. But next week should be easier, routine into place, and I should be good to start around 8:45. So spot, yeah, spot is the same thing. That's basically the same chart as Netflix. You have that downtrend, 21 DMA, so daily structure reclaim, retest, base range building. We had that shakeout yesterday, so we could have lost that range and just follow through down, but that's what I said by yesterday being constructive and seeing that right back into range is good to see, and we're building nicely that weekly chart. So yeah, great chart spot as well. All right, guys. So market open. I will be in the pit, trading pit as well today. So if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye bye.